but if you could practice from your couch, wouldn't you? That's exactly what the finalists of our Winter X Gamers Challenge did.
Fortnite, League of Legends, Overwatch, and more dominate the esports scene these days. But as you can imagine, this wasn't always the case. Let me take you back to ancient times, when esports looked quite different, and I'm going to start with a very obscure title, ESPN Winter X Games Snowboarding for the PlayStation 2. To set the scene, it was around December of 2000 when news of major competition being held at local circuit cities across the United States broke. Those of you who aren't old like me might be wondering what a circuit city is. Back in my day, we didn't have things like Amazon or Newegg, and thus had to actually put clothes on and go outside to get the shiniest new electronic gadgets, at stores like this one. Walking uphill both ways in the snow, of course, as this type of trope goes. As often happened during these early esports days, the game chosen for the competition didn't have an existing competitive scene, and the tournament existed mainly as a form of advertising. This meant everyone would be starting from the same level. There were no invites, no seeded players, and no way to even compare online how one was stacking up to others that would be in attendance at a given location. One would go into the competition not knowing what to expect, and with little clue as to where one might place. In my case, I attended the qualifier in Atlanta, Georgia that had hundreds of people show up to display their mad snowboarding skills. The goal of the competition was to get as many points as possible on a single run down the slopestyle course. You get these points by doing tricks like grinding or flips, and getting a high score is harder than it appears, as the controls of the game are ass. I struggled to not look like a complete fool when trying to capture footage for this segment, and it doesn't surprise me the game is only a 73 on Metacritic. As will be the case most often in this video series, I did not take the needed first place to qualify for the finals. But as will also often happen in this video series, my younger brother did. This would be his first major tournament victory of his career, and was a big enough deal to get him in the local news. The win netted him a player packet with all the details of what the finals would be, and I managed to find the original copy of it. The highlights of this packet include: flights and transportation to the finals will be paid for by ESPN for Friday, February 2nd to Monday, February 5th, essentially a free weekend trip to Mount Snow, Vermont. Each participant was allowed to bring a guest, which for my brother, as we were both kids, would have been our father, and was given $300 to cover meals during the event. There would be unaired further qualifying rounds on site to reduce the players down to just the top 3. Those 3 would then compete in a 6-minute filmed segment on ESPN and win official Winter X Games gold medals for their placement. Furthermore, they mentioned the qualification score range that shows how vastly different the competition at each location must have been, ranging from 20,000 points to 60,000 points. I've got the schedule for you that shows the event would have a premium broadcast time slot of 4 p.m. on Saturday, February 3rd. This is followed by a list of those that won the local qualifiers. Of note is that my younger brother is the only one with a set of parentheses next to his name that contains a location indicating all of the other winners were likely from the same state the circuit city was in. The rest of the packet is more boring with things like directions and a schedule, so we shall move on to the main event itself. Without further ado, in what I believe is a world premiere of this competition on the video interwebs, here is an edited segment of the Winter X Gamers Finals for your enjoyment.
Circuit cities around the country sent the top 10 high scorers here. Those 10 were cut down to a top 3.
This is Robert O. I'm here at the Circuit City booth for the Winter X Gamers Challenge. I have the contestants right in front of me. First I have Keith DeSimone from New York, Matthew Anderson from South Carolina, the youngest contestants, 14 years old. And lastly, Robert Smith. This man looks tough.
Matthew Anderson.
And there you have it. On February 3rd of 2001, 3 video gamers got official Winter X Games medals from their mad hand-eye coordination skills. Medals that you won't find listed anywhere, as ESPN has acted like the event never existed. In fact, the silver medalist tried to sell his medal for $3,000 at one point, but his auction ended up being removed as the Winter X Games fandom claimed his medal to be a scam. But that is why I am here, to reshed light on the forgotten esports events that I grew up with before they are completely lost to history. The medal my brother won came with a signed snowboard of those at the top of the actual snowboarding sport and has remained unused to this day. The local paper did a follow-up story on how unbelievable it was for a medal to be given out for a video game, as winning stuff for playing games was still relatively rare for this time period. I've linked additional sources in the description, including the ESPN final write-up on the competition that contains further information, like how my brother and I had to rent a PlayStation 2 from something called a Blockbuster to practice for this event. Welcome to the end of the inaugural episode of Esports Historian. If you enjoyed this concept, give me a like, spread the word, and let me know how I can improve the format. See you all next time when we move from one defunct electronic retailer to another with the story of CompUSA's Gaming League. Take care, everyone.
Tina,
Yes.
I just want you to he played you.
I know.
And as a guy deciding to play you, I mean, I think that's nice. Can we
Thanks for your support.
just, make some good TV
Thanks
here
for your
for us.
support. Let's.
Could you guys hug, please? Yes, woo! You don't get that. That only happens at video game challenges. I think a big part of the win might have been that you played Peter Line.
Yeah, that was the whole point. I mean, he's just the coolest there is.